And we are back here with another video today. Welcome to the Football Expert. My name is Reikley Ruby. Make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, like the video if you enjoy, and comment your thoughts and opinions down below as we do Texas Tech football today. Man, ladies and gentlemen, we have a good one today. Texas Tech, one of the playoff teams from last year, has a great roster back again with the addition of Brandon Sorsby at quarterback. Can they make that again? They get over the hump into that next round of the playoff? Can their offense really solidify themselves after a defensive slugfest against Oregon in that first round? So as we get into that, like I said, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Watch the other videos. They'll be up in the clips below or up in the little tag things above. Check out your team. Let me know what your team you would like me to do. And then also let me know what you think Texas Tech will do. So what do you think their record will be? How do you think their defense is going to be this year without Jacob Rodriguez? How do you think their offense will be? Do you think it will improve? Do you think we are going to see that improvement from Sorsby? Do you think the investment is a good one? So let's get into today's video with Texas Tech football. Texas Tech has an interesting season here as they start off their season against Abilene Christian. Easy win here, no problems. I'm not going to go too much further into this one because there's a lot to cover in this video. Easy win here for the Red Raiders. Then you head on the road and play the Oregon State Beavers in Corvallis. Very interesting game here as Oregon State is a team that has, well, a lot to prove. And I believe correctly, they hired the Alabama assistant coach that I'm blanking on his name, Jamarcus Shepard. Jamarcus Shepard, the former Alabama assistant, is the new head coach there at Oregon State, as Oregon State has kind of transitioned from that Power 5 level down to the Group of 5 level after the firing of Trent Bray in the offseason, the former head coach there. So right now I see an easy win here for the Red Raiders. No problems there as this team ramps up early on in the season. Then they have a home game against the Houston Cougars. And I think that this is going to be a very interesting matchup as this game will be played on a Friday night, I presume, I guess, obviously. So Friday night, which is interesting because if you live in Texas, if you've ever been to Texas, massive high school football state, biggest in the country by far, not even close. And to have a game on Friday night, I don't like this. I like it when it's a team out west and it's Oregon versus Washington, or it's Rutgers versus UCLA or something like that. Like if it's a random game on a Friday night, but when you're in the South, do not play a game on Friday night. High school football's too big down here that it just annoys me when you play games on Friday nights. Like I don't really go to many high school football games anymore. Sometimes I will go visit my the high school that I went to see them play every once in a while. But honestly, I just don't like it either way. I think they get a win there. Off of my little tangent, I think that Brandon Sorsby in this offense will show some improvement later on in the season. But I think that even into this part of the season, they're still looking good. I think this team they still bring back a lot of pieces. Like obviously you lost Morton, the starting quarterback from last year, and Rodriguez, the mainstay of that defensive unit. But you also brought in a lot of good transfers. Trey White, Austin Romaine, Adam Trick, and Bryson Butler, all on the defensive line area, with Austin Romaine playing weak side linebacker. So it'll be interesting to see how he plays there. But I think that he is still in a good spot to be able to have this defense going. I say Joey McGuire, the head coach of the Red Raiders, as I think that will be an impressive win there against the Houston Cougars. I would be a little more interested if this game was on the road at Houston on Friday night, because weird things happen on Friday night games. But with it being at home, I think they'll get a win. Then they have Sam Houston. Easy win here. The Sam Houston just still kind of getting used to the FBS level as they moved up, I believe, 2 years ago now. Maybe it's 3 years ago. But Sam Houston, the Bearcats, just moved up recently. Easy win for Texas Tech. They are quickly 4-0 on the season. Then they have a road game against Colorado, and this is their first kind of true interesting road test. I don't think Oregon State's going to be a difficult road test, but I do think that it will be very interesting to see what happens at this game. I just don't particularly think that Deion Sanders is in a great position. I'm not 100% sure where they're going to be at, but honestly, when I'm looking at a team like Texas Tech and the consistency of Joey McGuire's squads as of recently, like this is not just a one-off thing where Texas Tech was good just last year and there was absolutely no reason to it. Obviously, I don't think that the team was as good as they were last year. Like it's been last year was the best season that they've probably, I think, ever had. I'm trying to remember a time that they would have been like there was the 2008 season with Mike Leach, the 11-2 loss in the Cotton Bowl, but like you made the playoffs, you won the Big 12. I think that's probably the best season that they have had, at least in my memory. And with that, 8-5 before that, 7-6, 8-5 with Joey McGuire. So this is a team that's kind of stayed in that range and then took the jump up this past year, finishing fourth in the last CFP ranking and then seventh in the last AP ranking. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But then after that, you have a very interesting matchup. You got a road game, a bye week, and then a home game against the Arizona State Sun Devils. And I like Kenny Dillingham as the head coach at Arizona State. But here's the problem that I have here. With no Sam Leavitt, obviously heading away to LSU, I just don't know what Dillingham looks like without Leavitt, without Tyson, without a lot of those key contributors of the team that brought him 2 years ago to the CFP appearance, and with the win, or not the win, the close loss with the Cam Scatteraboo team to Texas. Honestly, very close to winning that game. And Arizona State or Ohio State in the semifinal would have been crazy, absolutely bonkers of a game. But I think that that is a win for the Red Raiders here. I don't see too many issues there. Then you got a very interesting game for Brandon Sorsby particularly, and that's going to be a road game against Cincinnati. Obviously heading back to his old school. Brandon Sorsby played, I believe, 4 years. Yeah, all 4 years of his college career at Cincinnati. Before that, with the redshirt year in 2022, then 2023, 2024, and 2025 as the starting quarterback, slowly improving little by little, going from 57% completion percentage, 1,500 yards, 5 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, to 2,800 yards, 64% completion percentage, 18 touchdowns, 7 picks. And then 61% completion percentage, 2,800 yards even, 27 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, but more specifically, only 7 sacks. And his QB rating went up pretty massively, along with his average rush yard, all the way up to 6. So Sorsby in that last year, just a lot more efficient. Did not have as many yards nor as many interceptions as he did the year before. So you did see a little bit of some improvements there. So like what I saw from Sorsby at Cincinnati. And honestly, I think it was probably the best transfer pickup in all of college football. I think most people would agree with that. But that's where I land at it. Then you have a home game against Arizona. This is going to be really interesting to see where Arizona's at under Brennan. But I think that this Arizona team, they really had a good end of the year. Their end of the year was really good. And that's what I kind of find interesting is Arizona a team that can really build upon success at the end of the year and finding some momentum there with wins against Arizona State, Baylor, Cincinnati, Kansas, and Colorado, 5 straight wins. And then a couple of close losses, 6-point loss in double overtime to BYU, 3-point loss to Houston on the road. Outside of that, you only had 1 blowout loss to Iowa State, and then the SMU loss in the bowl game. So 9-4, I think that this is a very interesting matchup. when it comes to that. But I think at the end of the day, with this game being at Texas Tech, I'm going to pick the Red Raiders in this one. If it was at Arizona, I'd probably pick the Wildcats, but I'm going to have a win there. Then you have a home game against West Virginia. Easy win here. I don't think West Virginia is a great team this year. We'll see what happens, but an easy win there. Then a road game at Stillwater against the Cowboys, and I am going to have a loss here for the Cowboys, but a win for the Red Raiders. Sorry, mixed that up as I was going. No, I think that they are once again going to get a win over Oklahoma State, but obviously a very different team there in Stillwater, bringing in the North Texas football team basically with everything there. So I think that could be a much more interesting matchup, but I have that as a win for the Red Raiders. Then second to final, at this end, at Baylor. Very, very interesting game to see what happens, to see what wins can happen, what can happen generally at the end of the season, because Dave Aranda could be fired by this point. He could be having a bad year and he could get fired. But I do think that Baylor's still a good enough team to keep Aranda's job, but at the same time, I'm going to give the win to the Red Raiders. And that brings up the final matchup of the year, 11-0 heading into this matchup against TCU. And what I'm going to say is this: a first loss for the Texas Tech Red Raiders in this final game. TCU, very, very, very interesting team this season with Sonny Dykes. Obviously had great success in that first year under Dykes, but then lost there later on. So I think that it would be incredibly interesting to see what happens in this matchup, but I am going to take TCU. But at the end of the day, don't leave bitter off of that one. I still do have Texas Tech going 11-1 in this season and making the college football playoffs, but that's neither here nor there right now. You can check out my college football playoff prediction with the American Football Network if you would like to know more about that. And with that, we close out the video. So hit one of the two videos down below. One will be the podcast of everything there, and then hit the subscribe button up here. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and finish out there. See you guys. Bye.